Hi, hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the bell curve. A curve which is like a normal distribution. You must have seen here what it looks like. Many of you might be knowing, those who are basically from the statistical background or studied in statistics, they must be knowing what is bell curve. Still, I would like you to listen because I'm going to talk two different aspects of the bell curve. One which is used by the statistics into the data analysis, and the one which is being used or should be used in the life. But let's understand what's bell curve and why it is called bell curve. A simple. The bell curve is called as bell curve because it looks like a bell, and it's nothing but a normal distribution, which is more commonly known as bell curve. And this type of curve shows throughout the statistics and the real world. And this curve is used in two contexts. One is distribution of the population or a sample, and a life cycle of something X. When we talk about distribution of population and sample, it could be some statistical distribution or a real life distribution. And when we talk about the life cycle, it could be the product life cycle or it could be the personal life cycle. So this bell curve is a common feature about nature and psychology. Let's take anything which is related to a psychology or a nature, and all the things follow a simple shape of a bell. When it comes to statistics, the center point is basically the mean. It's a mean of any data, and the rest falls into the standard deviation range, which is ranging from -3 standard deviation to +3 standard deviation. When we talk about the range of -2 to +2 standard deviation, the total area which gets covered in 2 standard deviation is 95.5%. And when we talk about 3 standard deviation, the total area which gets covered is 99.7%. And this is how it goes. 68% falls under plus minus 1 standard deviation. Those who are not from statistical background can do some research on this on Google or go through some write-ups, and it's very easy to understand how it works in real life. Let's take a group of people, whether it is in the department or in a company or in some social circle or even in the classrooms, in our colleges or schools, in a classrooms. You will always find there are 60% of the population, close to 60%, it may not be exact, but close to 60% are average performance. There will be 20% bottom, low performers who are into that minus 3 6 sigma, sorry, not 6 sigma, minus 3 sigma, and there will be 20% high performer. And this is how the distribution always be there. Take it anything, you take a department and performance of a person, you take the achievements against certain KPIs, you take the marks obtained in a class, or you take the income of a group of a persons in a society. Anything, you will find a normal distribution like this. The top 20% will be over here, bottom 20 will be here, and middle will be 60%. When we talk about a department performance, always this curve is used into performance management system. How it is used? There is a KPI, the key performer indicators, and the targets are set against each KPI, and then the performance is jotted down in Excel or on the paper, and the top 20% performers, they get larger increment and they get are like recommended for promotions, whereas the bottom 10 performers, they are mostly the part subjected to the training, or maybe they lose the job, getting termination, and the average go with the flow, the normal increments or something like that. When we say like, okay, let's say the people whom we are dealing with or people next to us, associated with us, those guys, if we try to just put it into the different categories, we will find 60%. Like when we are walking on the street or when we are sitting, we don't bother, we don't feel anything about them. Maybe your co-workers, maybe some strangers. When we are walking on the roads, we find some people just passing by, we don't bother, we don't feel anything about them. There would be the 10% would be like someone, okay, we just hate them, and could be few percentage could be like just we treat them as an enemy. Whereas on the positive note, the people whom we do not bother, little bit up could be our friends, the teammates, our classmates, and top could be ourselves. Same is the distribution. Number of people will reduce as you go here, number of people will reduce as you go here, and this is where the maximum population is distributed if you draw the histogram. So basically, a life is nothing but it's a bell curve existence. Take anything from the nature which comes into population, which comes into sample, you will find the center, you will find 34% here, 34% here, total 68%, then 13% here, 13% here, then 2%, 2% here, like that. And this is what is the life. A life of a human being is nothing but a bell curve existence. And these bell curves keep on shifting. How it shifts? Maybe we can say mean, this is a mean, so average. We can say, okay, the average income of a person, let's say it's 10,000 bucks. Maybe after 4 years, 5 years, the average income of a person in a population or in a society may become 15,000, sorry, may become 15,000 because of inflation and all. So if we, how do we respond? If we do not upgrade ourselves and improve our earnings at least to close to match with the mean and stay where we were, we will be always on the negative side. And if we perform well, our earning is increasing more than the average pace, then we will be on the positive side. Same goes in terms of marks. I know when we I was getting graduated, even 70, 75, 80% marks is considered as good enough. Today, on the sanitizer bottle, it says that 98% jump skill. The average marks also seems to be like 98%. So if someone is not scoring above 90, he is not considered as a good student, because this bell curve has shifted to the extreme. And that's what we have to understand. Life is nothing but the existence of the bell curve, and this bell curve keep on shifting, and we as a human being, it's very important for us to understand this shift, and we have to shift, if not at faster than the shift of bell curve, at least at the same speed of the bell curve. Otherwise we will be redundant. It's very important. And the second part is about the life cycle. When we talk about the bell curve in the life cycle, look at this chart, how it was. This is a product life cycle. Any product, new product, when it gets launched, let's say iPhone or Samsung Note 1, it gets launched, there is a startup phase. Lot of people will start asking the questions, whether how it is working, whether it will work, how it will last. And then there is a growth, because once the people are convinced, few people have already started using the product, then the advertisement starts, and okay, the feedback comes and the growth starts. Once the growth goes, then comes the maturity stage. By the maturity stage, there are a lot of things happens, like some of the deficiencies are already highlighted. With the features the product already has, there is a demand for higher features, and by the time the new product development starts, the new products come into picture, and this product starts declining, and that is what is a declining phase. The declining phase is like when you start generating the cash, and then finally the product goes out of the market. but new product comes. This is a simple product life cycle. But the same life cycle, when it comes to the human life, it's also the bell curve. It starts with the birth, then comes the growth, the education and all, and then there's a maturity, and this is what is the peak. This is the peak where the person will be earning the highest of his life, be it a income in terms of money, be it a respect, be it a experience. This is where the person is earning the highest. After that starts the maintenance of whatever we have earned, and then the decline, and then the finally the death. And this is a simple life cycle of a human being, which is also a bell curve. So life cycle, when we talk about the life cycle, the life is a bell curve, and the height of this peak we establish is directly proportional to how happier we will be on the rest of the life. If we achieve this peak very sharp, the decline is going to be sharp. We achieve this peak at a normal speed, but we reach maximum height, then it will go here, and then rest of the life the happiness will be also more. Look at this. We are infant, from infant to child, child to adult, and when we go to this adult stage, then the middle age and the decline starts. This stage, this is the prime. We have to increase this bell curve further. The more we increase the bell curve, more will be the lifetime, and more happy will be the slide. A simple concept. So the question here, when it comes to the distribution, where do you stand today on this bell curve? We think about the population, think about your surroundings, think about your friend circles, think about your family and relatives, think about the society you live, and just think, where do you stand? Are you on outstanding, or you are above average, or you are good, or you are part of this 60%, or you are part of this minus 13% poor, or you are into unsatisfactory? Not only in terms of money, but also in terms of respect, in terms of what you have achieved in the life, what you have achieved in your career, everything. Where do you stand today? And what is your next plan to take this height and change this bell curve? When it comes to your own life, are you on the negative side still, or left side still? It's a growth cell, not negative. This is not a distribution, it's a life cycle type. Are you on the growth side? So are you busy in living, or you already achieved the peak in your life and you are busy in dying and getting into the all the health issues and all, and getting towards the end of the line? It's very important. Think again. Thank you. If you like my topics, my presentation, please do subscribe to my channels. Thank you very much.